As an old person of 48 years old, I have been listening to podcasts since the beginning. And I even go back before podcasts in this thing called radio programs and disc jockeys. And I used to listen to a radio station. Well, actually, it was a network, and it was called Air America. And Air America was the left answer to George W. Bush. It was the left's answer to Fox News. It was the left's answer to basically Fox News in large part, and Rush Limbaugh and all the stuff that was going on that the right had controlled. Clear Channel, Sinclair, all of those entities, right? One of the people on them was Sam fucking Seder. Sam Seder, of course, or Fenton Muley, for those who watch home movies. Sam Seder, of course, has a podcast called The Majority Report. He's got about 1.5 million subscribers. He's got tons of followers. And he's been doing this for, 2025? He's been doing it for 20 plus years, okay? He was doing this before. He was one of the first leftist podcasters even on YouTube. And even before then, he was on the radio. He had a radio show with Mark Maron. He used to have Janine Garofalo on all the time. I don't know what happened. I don't listen to the show much anymore, so, I've kind of moved on. After Michael Brooks died and after Sam's relentless support of Kamala Harris and the Democratic Party, it's tough for me to go back to Sam Seder. But he is legit. He is smart. He is legit left, and he understands MAGA as well as you can. And he's been understanding MAGA since 2016. Go back and look at some of his stuff. He used to get into arguments with Michael Brooks, and Michael Brooks used to say, MAGA supporters are not all racist. They're working class people, and they're struggling economically, and he had a point. But what Sam Seder would say, yeah, but you're kind of giving them too much credit. You're kind of pretending that they're not being, racist or bigots. You can't tell me that the social issues that they're constantly engaged in, the conservatives weren't a huge factor in how MAGA got elected, and how Donald Trump got elected, and how MAGA really got started. And this has been an argument that he and Michael Brooks had for 2016, 17, 18, and I believe Michael Brooks died in 2019 or 18. Anyway, now Sam Seder, who used to be friends with Cenk and Anna Kasparian from TYT, the Young Turks. The Young Turks, of course, they were one of the first leftist video podcasts that you would see on YouTube. Cenk he wanted to be Howard Stern, but didn't have the talent, so he ended up becoming this leftist voice because he even admitted, he said, I saw that there was he's a businessman. He said, I saw that there was an opening in the left, and he filled it. So what's happened with TYT is beginning to descend in relevancy. They had taken DNC money. They had taken money from political action, or not political action committees. They were connected to like Jeffrey Katzenberg and some other tens of millions of dollars. That's been kind of shown that they actually did take money from Democratic organizations, and they were invited to Democratic functions, and they got access and the whole thing, and they promoted Kamala Harris, and they promoted the Democratic Party. This hasn't completely changed, but what's happened now is Cenk and Sam Seder are having YouTube beef, which is hilarious because, YouTube beef is the backbone of YouTube. If you can find somebody to beef with and you can get enough audience members, boy, people will tune into your response videos, right? But Sam and Cenk are going at it. TYT and the Majority Report are going at it. And what's funny is Sam Seder is a legit intellectual. Emma Vigeland, whether you like her or not, she's smart. Their producers, Sam's producers, smart, well-read people. Cenk's people, not so much. Anna Kasparian, in my opinion, has been used for her looks by Cenk from Jump Street. He puts her in she wears short dresses. She wears stuff that shows cleavage. She wears sleeveless shirts, sleeveless dresses. She's constantly promoting her quote unquote sexuality and the way she looks. It's very Fox News-ish, right? It's very Fox News. And Cenk has used her since the beginning. They used to talk about women's camel toes and things. He sent her to the mall once and got men to buy her, shoes, he was trying desperately to be Howard Stern. Again, just not talented enough to do that. But the left, desperate for something to counteract all of the right-wing stuff online, Cenk was there, and and was a good businessman and has made a ton of money doing it. Sam Seder is legit smart. He is legit well-versed in not only the law, but history and societal issues and race and transgender. And he understands these issues and the nuance of them and tries to educate and inform his audience. Cenk does no such thing. Now, because everyone has seen through Cenk fully, like everybody that matters, anybody that's paying attention knows what a phony he is and what a phony Anna Kasparian is after her attacks on transgender people because she didn't want to be called, she didn't like the terminology that they were using towards her. And she's also they've been having libertarians on talking about incarcerating homeless people in California because she had a bad encounter with one. And Cenk and Anna are dullards. They are stupids. I wouldn't listen to a fucking TYT episode if you put a gun in my mouth. I'd be like, just kill me already, right? Because I've never liked Cenk, not from day one. Whereas Sam Seder, I have enjoyed Sam Seder's work for the last 20 plus years. Even in the late 90s, I knew who Sam Seder was because he was like on some sitcoms and he directed television shows and he was a writer and he did some stand-up comedy, not a lot, but he was kind of in that. I just knew who he was. And then home movies and things like that really, and his Air America work with Mark Maron and Jeanine Garofalo and stuff. And I love Jeanine Garofalo and I love Mark Maron. So as comedians. And so that's what Sam knows what the fuck he's doing. He is well-versed in the law. Like I said, he goes to those law conferences every year, the tort reform conferences or the tort conferences. And he goes and he's smart. Sam, I believe his parents are lawyers. And so he could have easily been a lawyer. Sam is also funny. He's also down to earth. Now, he's also wealthy. He's also made a lot of money on his television show, on his YouTube show and his supporters and stuff. He makes good money. He does a lot of advertising. And for the most part, he tries to do good advertising. You can tell he tries to have somewhat of a conscience. He doesn't really grift people with the merchandise, although you can buy merchandise. He doesn't do the whole TYT shtick thing where they put the be an American hero, make a statement now, go buy all your activist gear and go buy all your activist gear at tyt.com, that kind of shit. Sam just isn't that crass. And now Cenk and Anna are MAGA. They want to listen to MAGA. They want to have a conversation with MAGA. They want to, because they know that we have to have MAGA and bring them somehow back. This is Cenk's proposition, as well as Anna Kasparian's, that we need to talk to MAGA and like MAGA and talk to them because we need to bring them back in order to get anything done with electoral politics. Now, if anybody knows anything about MAGA, they know they're not voting for Democrats. They're not voting unless those Democrats come out and they're talking about the deep state and they're conspiracy theorists and they're bigots and they're anti-immigrant and they're anti-every fucking and anti-immigrant and like the other, like creating a fascist entity, creating fascism, which is what MAGA is doing here, accidentally and on purpose. And they're dummies, they're dullards, they're stupids. Cenk wants their money. Cenk has always fancied himself as some sort of spokesman for the left, right? He's going to go to Congress and hold the Democrats accountable. That was his run when he ran. He was going to be the one that really, he was going to be the leader of the Democrats. And no one's ever wanted anything to do with Cenk. He lost by his numbers when he lost in his congressional seat run was off. Like he got like 5% of the vote. He did not do well. And considering he has 4 million subscribers on YouTube, you'd figure, well, anyway. So Cenk is pissed. They've manufactured this sort of thing with Sam Seder, TYT has, that because Sam Seder basically says, go fuck yourself, MAGA, I don't care. He goes, and Sam makes the point, and he is correct. You cannot work with MAGA. There are enough people to get that didn't vote last time. Half the people that can vote don't. Start with them, TYT. Start with the Democratic Party and reforming the Democratic Party to be more leftist, not more right, not more centrist. That's what TYT wants because TYT are grifters. And when Cenk calls Sam Seder a grifter, that's one of the only times I've ever seen in my life where somebody I know for a fact knows they're lying. It's not the only, obviously, that's an overstatement. But I know for a fact when Cenk calls Sam Seder a grifter, he knows he's lying. Sam Seder is not a fucking grifter. Cenk is a grifter. Cenk is what is called projecting onto Sam Seder all of this horrible shit because people are walking away from TYT. Is TYT going to go broke or under as their page? No. But they don't have the reach that they once had. People don't trust them. They don't find them credible. And now they're trying to sidle up to MAGA. You know, MAGA, we're not so different. We all breathe the same air. We all care for our kids' future. MAGA wants nothing to do with the left. MAGA, it's like that idiot Jackson Hinkle starting MAGA communism. If MAGA hates one word, it's communism. You dullard, you fucking grifter. And now Cenk and Anna are going after Sam Seder and calling him a fucking grifter and saying that, really good idea, Sam, not to talk to MAGA. We'll never get him back then. You never had them. The supposition is that somehow MAGA were disgruntled Democrats who decided to go vote for Trump. These were working class people who were, they just always were liberal. And then one day they just decided, you know what? I fucking hate people from other countries. I fucking hate the environment. I hate the federal government. I hate everything. It's not logical. And Cenk probably in his deep down in his dark little soul, in his little grifter soul, he knows this. He knows they're not interested in TYT. I know conservatives, and when you say the word TYT to them, they roll their eyes and they go, oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Like, they're not even remotely interested in hearing what Cenk has to say. Cenk had spent his last 10 years of his however, since he's had his YouTube page and has success, he's been spent sidling up to Democrats and to the left, and he had never cared about a conservative. He'd never given a shit about anybody but Democrats. And now they're walking away from him. He has to find a new grift. You always have to change your con, and he's changing his con. And his con now is attacking Sam Seder and creating a YouTube beef between two people who used to have each other on their shows to two people that were always on. And Cenk, of course, has taken the lowest road possible. He always calls everybody stupid and dumb and they're idiots because his human thumb brain, Cenk looks like a human thumb. He has, in his little brain, you can see, doesn't have a lot of room for nuance. And he's always in a state of grift. So when you're always in a state of grift, you're always quick to attack and you're quick to project. And that's what he's doing. The idea that Cenk could hold Sam Seder's jock in a duffel bag. I mean, he couldn't carry Sam Seder's fucking intellect in a fucking suitcase. He just couldn't. He doesn't have the mental fucking bandwidth. And I'll tell you who really doesn't is Anna Kasparian. And I mean, you say whatever you want to about Emma Vigeland. She's 10 times smarter than that dullard Anna Kasparian. Like, Anna Kasparian's a dullard. She's there because of the way she looks. That's it. I don't care about her heritage or Armenian and Turkey. I don't give a fuck about all that. Mount Ararat. I know the genocide. But that's not what I'm talking about. Cenk has the balls to go after Sam Seder for being calling him a grifter and saying that you don't, because Sam says fuck MAGA, which is what you should fucking say. And by the way, I didn't watch any of these. I saw these clips on somebody else's channel and I just thought there was Winners and Losers, I think is the guy's name. But anyway, he's trying to unionize the TYT. Every once in a while he'll put a video out, and it's interesting to see the inner workings of Cenk's mind and how anti-union he is and anti-labor he is. And now he's MAGA. Now he wants to bring MAGA back. MAGA was never, I'm going to just clear, this sentence I'm going to repeat. You never had MAGA. MAGA were not Democrats. And any MAGA who spins you some yarn about, I was a Democrat, and I love the Democratic Party, but I just had enough. I had enough of their liberals, their liberal democracy ideas. And I decided we need a king and a dictator because the economy is so bad. Like, it's a bullshit narrative. It's for people who want to get on radio shows and have people read their comments that they make that shit up. I know MAGA, they were never left. They were never Democrats. I know a lot of MAGA. They were working class chuds who leaned towards what Obama said. God, guns, that's how they feel. God, their religion and their guns. And that's what they believe. And they like Trump because he hates the other and he'll blame everybody. He'll blame the Mexican. He'll blame the minority. He'll blame transgender. He'll blame DEI and woke and all these things instead of ever getting down to the fact that it's capitalism that's destroying you. That the economic system of America needs to be dramatically changed. So fuck Cenk and War Sam Seder. Thanks for listening.